I'm money to address the challenge. I don't care what country, whether you develop.
Government wants to come to the green bond market and issue something.
It gives me much pleasure to be here this morning. As you know, as has been said, that Fiji is the first emerging economy that actually issued its green bonds. We were the third sovereign in the world. One of the reasons why we did do that, because as you know that, as has been rightly pointed out, that we can talk about climate change, we can talk about mitigation, we can talk about adaptation. However, we do need access to funds. And we believe, and as a government we saw the fact that we need to be able to also be innovative ourselves, to be able to partner with different development partners, to be able to access funds, because sometimes accessibility to funds through various institutions can be a bit slower. And it also does give you a good footprint in the climate change ecosystem to be able to issue such bonds. I think the critical issue as far as we were concerned was to ensure its sustainability. You need to be able to pitch it at the right audience. You need to be able to pitch the right amount. In Fiji's case, it's $100 million Fijian dollar bond, which is about $50 million US dollars. We had the first issue just given out, which is the subscription was on the 1st of November, where we have now initially issued $40 million, 40 million Fijian dollars, which is 20 million US. We of course need to be able to ensure that to be able to raise these funds, you have the capacity and the ability to be able to spend it. So you should not raise it all up at once. So in our case, we've got another 3 or 4 tranches coming along to actually fulfill the 100 million Fijian. Where will the funds be used? Before I do that, I think it's very critical to also ensure, in respect of sharing our experience, that you have independent third-party validation, and also to check the credibility of it. So, Sustainalytics from Europe is actually doing that assessment for us. So what we are saying that every single cent that is raised through the bond will actually go towards the purpose for which it is stated. And that is, in our case, we're looking at predominantly climate adaptation, and there's also some mitigation measures built into that. But however, once we made the announcement, we had said we'd be issuing 40 million Fijian dollars. We were oversubscribed. And so for the first time we actually saw the commercial banks in Fiji decided to participate, which is very unusual in our case. And most of the banks, except one, out of the 6 banks, only one of them is a Fijian bank. All the other 5 banks are foreign banks. And they decided to actually subscribe to that. And in fact, that's why we oversubscribed to the tune of $87 million, which is a good space to be in. From our perspective, of course, we like the idea, as we discussed in pre-COP, we made the announcement at pre-COP. I think to be able to get that footprint that may be required by other countries, of course we require that too, is to be able to get investors from outside the country, some credible investors. Traditionally in Fiji, we find that our bonds are generally purchased by or subscribed to by our superannuation fund. You have some insurance companies. However, if we are able to get some development partners from outside, say from Europe or UK or USA, then of course it gives you that particular level of visibility within the international market, and that level of rating too, because that does help quite significantly. We have issued 2 tranches. One of them, of course, we targeted a 5-year bond, which is to the tune of about $13 million. The coupon rate is 4%. And then we have a 13-year maturity with 6.3%, which is the longer term. So we split it up to be able to attract different investors and make it a lot more attractive for them. What we have also done is that, as I've said, that we've stated what the objectives would be, where the money would be spent. So a lot of it is to do with, for example, we had a cyclone last year, the 2nd strongest storm ever recorded to hit landfall until then in any case. The strongest in the southern hemisphere, killed 44 Fijians. We lost about 1/3 of our GDP. Now, notwithstanding that the economy did continue to grow at a slower pace though, however, the point is that there's a lot of projects that need to be addressed as a result of that event. So we have, for example, put in a lot of solar panels in rural areas for people to get, access to energy. They're all blown away. So you actually have to do the rebuild. These are unexpected expenses by the state that it has to meet. We have sewage system, water system, roads, bridges that actually get washed away as a result of these climatic events. There's also a lot of adaptation measures. In the cyclone, for example, what really brought home the point, we had nearly 6,000 kilometers of electrical cables that went down as a result of the cyclone. Now we put them all back up. Of course, we can get another cyclone, and the cyclone season actually starts this month. It starts from November to April. If we have another severe cyclone, it will go back down again. So you need to actually put the electrical cables underground. So we started doing that. We've just done probably a 5-kilometer stretch of double laning roads coming out of the main international airport. We put everything underground. There's nothing to blow down next time there's a cyclone. But the fact of the matter is, cost us another $20 to $30 million more. So they are the types of projects that, of course, this funding will go towards. I think I'll leave it at that. But I have to mention also in this case, it's probably the fastest record time within which, when we decided, the time the first issue is done, and we worked together with IFC, International Finance Corporation, which is linked to the World Bank, to actually help us with that. And I think if there are other countries that are interested in it also, I think it's good to partner with different organizations that may have that level of experience. But I think it is very, very important to be able to ensure that you have that credibility with building your bonds. Before I actually finish off, we started, for example, the budget just this year also. We started the Environment and Climate Adaptation Levy. Now, this is a rate of 10% that's paid. So if you go and stay in a hotel, you go and watch a movie, you eat at an expensive restaurant, you hire a rental car, apart from paying a value-added tax, you also pay a ECAL, Climate Adaptation, Environment and Climate Adaptation Levy. Now, we hope to raise about $90 million in this financial year. Our financial year starts from the 1st of August to the 31st of July. But we brought about a new law, and that law makes it incumbent upon the government to actually ensure that every single cent that's collected from that only goes towards environmental and climate adaptation measures or spend. And that needs to be publicized. So every few months we actually have to publish where the money is being spent. We put it up at the airports, we put it up at local municipal councils, so people actually have that buy-in. I think that is very, very important. You can, for example, increase your levy on, say, value-added tax or social service turnover tax. But the moment you're able to ensure or have the tax renamed and actually generally ensure that that money goes towards climate adaptation, environmental issues, you actually find that people don't necessarily mind actually paying that particular level of tax or that particular tax, because they know it's going to a specific cause. It's not going specifically to or generally to consolidated fund. They're going to a specific cause, and you need to have that level of transparency, which is very, very important. So I'll finish off there, and I'm sure you have lots of questions. We'll be quite happy to answer. Thank you.
I didn't realize this until I was working in Nigeria, that it has one of the largest pension funds as a resource. But the Kickstarter market effect is quite powerful.
Hello, I'm Prashant Vazay.
Feel good. Much of what this market has been about has been not necessarily into our transition, is capacity building on the